their side, and Schalke, do they leave Akali open again? No, Fnatic actually say we don't even want to
they don't want to first pick it, because then it gives Schalke the option to draft it themselves, and they then don't have an answer clearly. So this pressure ban is a nice adaptation that Schalke have forced onto Fnatic.
I think Fnatic are saying we have so many other ways we can win, we don't need Akali.
Yes.
But they could have just banned Gnar here, grabbed the Akali and gone for Lissandra ban in the second phase if they're scared of it, and that entire composition is gone from Schalke. But they're clearly saying there might be other plans, and again, Fnatic, they don't need Akali to win this series.
And despite their success in Game 2 up against Vander's Braum, they ban away his other comfort champion. Both the Alistar and the Braum now taken off the board. Schalke have already banned that Urgot that they seem committed to taking away. The question is, what is that last ban?
Oh, it's going to be Gnar. Smells like a first pick Shen then on the side of Fnatic, seeing as they're banning away the two supports.
Or is it a Pyke? Deficio.
We passed the first.
Are we though? Are we? I mean, when you think about some of the best answers into Pyke, you would kind of look at the Alistar and the Braum.
Kaisa instead. It was also open here. And I think Schalke, there was a chance they would have grabbed it on their side, but now banning two supports and then giving Shen does not really hurt Vander too much, unless we have a specific pick prepared against Shen. And what we have seen in playoffs was Poppy support used against it.
Now, I'd be a little surprised if that was something that Hylissang wanted to draft towards. It's not something that we conventionally see for him, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, Schalke drafted themselves a bit of an aggro bot lane. Having spoken to Upset, he says that he actually loves Ezreal paired up with a Shen, because you can look to go for these all-in trades at level 2 and level 3, especially against champions like the Kaisa. So I'm quite excited to see this come out from Schalke.
It's always the fascinating thing about Ezreal. Is the first couple of levels, he's one of the strongest AD carries. But then, after that, he hits this big mid-game slump where he still needs tier to fully stack before he then becomes a big carry again. But look at his play here against Vitality. Upset on Ezreal was the huge carry.
Absolutely was, shutting this down in what was such a close exchange in the end. Cabo's remount not enough in the end to take out Upset. And as we progress further in this draft, we have to wonder how Schalke are going to play around the Ezreal this time up against Rekkles' Kaisa. The Ornn already locked in with the Braum off the table.
Give it a
There
Pyke!
it is! The Pyke locked in for Hylissang. The crowd erupt. This has been one of his best performing champions, but Schalke, they're answering with power picks of their own.
Listen, best Pyke in the world on the side of Fnatic, but a tough lane for him to play against the Shen Ezreal. I'm still looking at roams towards the mid lane. Ornn comes in because there's no Braum this time to block the ulti, but we have this pick that Schalke has been banning away so far in LeBlanc. They can now get rid of two Caps champions, and NukeDuck is going to feel confident.
He is now the center of attention because they did not take the Cho'Gath here in the first phase. Fnatic now get to ban it away. They don't have to worry about that true damage, that ability to devour one of the low health targets.
I feel like they need to ban the Cassio here as well, but they're not going to. You'd kind of expect that to be the next go-to for Caps, given that we did see it played throughout playoffs as a kind of answer to the LeBlanc, and it is a big comfort pick for Caps as well.
They might just try and shut it down with ganks. We know Vizicsacsi can play any tank. He's famous for his Poppy. It's still open in this draft here. His Maokai is also there, so waiting with your top lane pick is not a problem for Schalke because they have so many tanks available on their side. We're still waiting for the jungle pick as well.
Looks like the Sejuani, the immediate lock-in. Not going to see any of the other picks from Amazing just yet.
Probably just get Trundle again then from Broxah on his side.
I feel like that it makes the most sense. He had a great game 2 on it. He didn't actually die in that game at all. And it does really well into the Sejuani as well. Yes, you don't have the same kind of engage tools, but the amount of stats you can steal from Sejuani in these fights makes it a very powerful pick.
Here's the key thing for Schalke though. Trundle Pillar is not good against LeBlanc and Ezreal. So both carries do not care about this jungle pick. It's only the front line who's scared of it. Of course, the Sejuani specifically will struggle a bit, but the two carries, they don't care about what Trundle brings.
The interactions will be important, but equally important will be what Caps decides to take in the mid lane. Malzahar for Caps, the MVP, the All-Star, the mechanical god playing Malzahar. Interesting choice now coming out, worried, giving respect to NukeDuck in the mid lane, and Gnar rounding out this composition.
So now Schalke have drafted themselves. They actually have a lot of options because in terms of the bot lane, we already talked about it. They do have the winning 2 versus 2. They have a winning matchup up towards the top side as well. And the great thing about LeBlanc is you don't have to stay mid lane and play that 1 versus 1. You have enough mobility to roam around and work with Amazing to find advantages in these side lanes.
Yeah, it's a clear-cut 1-3-1 split push comp from Schalke. They're going to get a winning top laner in Gnar. Once we get a bit further into the game, and he will be a pain for Ornn to deal with, then you have LeBlanc going to the separate side lane. And you have, of course, Ezreal, Shen holding mid lane with Shen ulti, able to go towards either side. So it's a split push composition from Schalke against a lot of pure team fighting. And for Fnatic, team fighting with engage. That is how you shut down 1-3-1. You just force engages around the mid lane or an ulti. Flash engages from a Malzahar. This Malzahar pick will also force NukeDuck to look towards QSS, which really slows down his snowball.
We've also got to keep our eyes on Hylissang. How much of a roaming impact can he have on this champion? You think about the setup that a Malzahar does have. The moment he hits 6, you combine that with a Pyke and a Trundle. Huge amount of kill threat onto this LeBlanc.
And the roaming starts level 1 when you have Pyke for Hylissang. Fnatic are so creative in how they like to set up these small little traps. And against Schalke in the regular season, level 1, Hylissang sat in that mid lane and he forced the flash from NukeDuck, and Caps hard won that lane. Let's see if he's trying it again.
Eyes on the level 1 before we make it even any further into the game. Game 3 here, folks. Madrid is ready. 1-1 the scoreline. Maybe not how you expected this day to play out if you're a Fnatic fan, but Schalke fans looking to see the team rally after a tough Game 2 loss to turn it back, to turn the series in their favor, and to take it to match point.
It's going to be exciting to see how this one plays out as the crowd settles down. NukeDuck on the LeBlanc. You know, it's interesting, Deficio, because when we came into this series, it was very much around what kind of style will NukeDuck look to play? Will he be very defensive, while Schalke look to play around the side lanes, or will he look to try and be a carry himself? And we're kind of seeing a mix and match. The dude taking full utilization of his extremely deep champion pool.
Very, very true. Good to see both teams having a lot of different styles they want to play. Soaz back on hard engage. Caps on what's normally considered the mid lane pick for teams who do not actually have the strongest mid laner, who do not have a mid laner who can carry games on his own. You're like, plug him on the Malzahar, he has the suppression, it's always great. In this case here, it is the best mid laner in Europe playing it. And it's actually done it in the past. And when he used to play Malzahar, it was rarely successful because it was back when Fnatic could not play around mid. So he was obviously not going to be doing almost anything in the game. But now, with Pyke and Trundle, you can actually play towards mid lane.
And the thing is, against LeBlanc, you'd think that, hey, having that shield can mitigate a lot of damage, but it's really easy to proc with LeBlanc just walking up, using the Q. Oh, it's on cooldown. Fortunately, my Q cooldown is extremely low, so I can just keep the pressure up. And you can already see the passive has disappeared from Caps. At early levels, the cooldown is relatively high, so NukeDuck will maintain pressure over this lane up until level 6, where he has to start to show a little more respect.
Need a few points in the Malefic Visions from Caps as well to compete with some of the wave control that NukeDuck's going to bring to the table. And more just importantly, the ability to trade onto Caps. For now, though, amazing. Sight set on the Scuttle Crab. Looks like it will be a trade back and forth as Broxah paths to the top lane. Eyes to see where this experience advantage goes.
Now, interestingly, Amazing did blue into Gromp into Scuttle, and I thought that he might look for a gank down towards the bot side of the map. Given how overextended Rekkles and Hylissang are, but he is just going to do a full bot side clear for the time being, while Broxah gets a bit of vision on the top side room.
Yeah, not getting any early action from their Ezreal and Shen lane. They lost the race for level 2 and got pushed under the turret. Now obviously Hylissang on his side. Early engages as well as a Pyke with Ignite can be very scary.
Absolutely can be. The hook going to be crucial, though, and of course, almost impossible to get on top of the Pyke if you're the one trying to engage. Phantom Undertow, just an incredibly powerful disengage ability combined with the Ghost Water dive. So, Schalke want to dictate the pace in this lane. They're going to have to find some creative avenues to take Hylissang out or to focus on Rekkles instead.
I mean, it's going to be through fighting right on their side. If you actually manage to get the engage here and you predict where the Pyke hook is going to land, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot to defend Rekkles, but for now it is just a pure farm lane. Mid lane is where we're looking instead, especially because NukeDuck will have early control. We know that Malzahar is not really doing anything in the first couple of levels. Will he use it to roam? He's currently moving bot side.
Vision's there. Scuttle Crab going to speed him up. The taunt goes in, the flash to connect it for Vander. Now pulled back into the middle of the team. Rekkles is running for his life. NukeDuck, the TP's been burned. Can he get any greater advantage? But it is going to get canceled out in the end. Cap's not going to commit to that one. Now focusing in on Hylissang. He's going to dash away. Will not get locked up. Phantom Undertow and Ghost Water dive take him to safety.
So very few summoner spells burnt on the side of Fnatic outside of the heal from Rekkles, but Vander had to use both summoners to set that play up. which means that in terms of summoner spell advantage, Fnatic were the ones to come out on top, and they were able to avoid this early play from Schalke.
The only unhappy player is going to be Caps. Having to use TP, then cancel it, he cannot go back to lane instantly, he'll have to run. It's also why NukeDuck could stay bot lane a little longer, knowing that it wasn't a huge threat in the mid lane of Caps, just instantly returning and perma-pushing.
So now we look at how things are playing out in the top side of the map, because remember that for Schalke, they have drafted this 1-3-1 style of comp, and when you are on that Gnar, you want to be able to pressure the Ornn in terms of the early laning phase, and he's going to be integral for Schalke to play towards their win conditions.
I think though, if you are Schalke, you're not too concerned early on, because Gnar is typically one of those champions that he will go even in a lot of matchups, but then once he gets items,
for sure,
he will use the range advantage and the fact he can actually chase you down in the long lane to then fully out the tank. So early, it's okay that they're just trading even. Wait for 1 or 2 items, and let's see if Chachi's going pure split push. Are we getting a Rage Blade Gnar, or will he build some tanky items?
We will have to find out. Gentlemen, I want to check in on the junglers. We talked so much about Amazing being crucial. He was a monster in Game 1. Game 2 was a little bit of a different story. We've seen how the team not quite is able to build up these gold leads when he's not as active early on. You can see 146 team gold difference of 15, but a 2.5k lead in that first game.
See, now you can see that in terms of his jungle proximity, he was still trying to be active in the early game, but it wasn't netting overall team objectives. The lanes weren't winning as hard as they were before, and the fact that he's able to apply this kind of pressure is still valuable, and he's going to need to maintain that, because again, if you are playing this 1-2-1, being able to have that early lead makes your split push that much more threatening.
For now, though, Broxah on the opposite side is going to focus his attention in the top lane. Amazing is on the way up. It looks like he has sniffed this one out. Question mark pings go down, and Hylissang sees an opportunity to go in onto upset. Where's the hook going to go? He's backing off. He's trying to buy a bit more time. Is it going to land? Vander going to body block. They're taking their time here. 4 stacks on that plasma. Rekkles could look to go in, but doesn't want to burn the flash. Is just going to back off.
And Hylissang just dodged the taunt there from Vander. Could have been huge for Schalke. But this is now Fnatic fighting bot lane after Hylissang took a bunch of damage before this fight happened, trying to hold the wave, and he has no items on his side, while Upset had, of course, already recalled and TP'd back in lane.
2 TPs coming top side. Amazing is there as well. Double sixes. Vizicsacsi at half rage. Could look to go for an engage here, but Amazing is just going to back off. Now, Hylissang, trapped into that bot lane tower, does feel like a good thing for Schalke right now, that he has not yet been able to roam, but he's got his eyes set on mid lane as he leaves the base.
Classic Hylissang play. Caps has hit level 6, and they have their eyes set on a potential NukeDuck kill. Hylissang and Broxah, something that they often did during the regular season to enable Caps to be that big carry.
But now Caps is going back as he goes mid lane, a little bit of a desync there.
Well, one of the problems for Malzahar is you use all your mana so quickly. He had absolutely nothing left, so he had to recall right there. Did not actually get to time it with his teleport cooldown, so he has to walk back again. But that doesn't mean the TP is ready if a play happens in the side lane, and that's one thing we can look for, how Caps reacts in case NukeDuck is roaming on his side.
And of course, gentlemen, Caps was just such a huge factor for this team when they won out in Game 2. A beautiful Cassio performance. We look back at the 3-man stun. Now, putting him on something that is not a carry is an interesting choice from Fnatic, and we have to wonder how it's going to affect the team.
Yeah, I felt like Caps was a really big part of why Fnatic were able to win so many of their team fights in the last game. And you think back to the semi-final, the fact that Caps pretty much solo won a game against Misfits on his LeBlanc, and the fact that he's earned himself MVP of the split just goes to show how much talent and ability to carry this guy does have.
And in this game here, his job together with Broxah is going to be just melting the front line of Schalke. It most likely will be Amazing trying to jump in, and that suddenly sets up the first kill, which then allows Rekkles to jump into the back line after on Kaisa, and you can kind of see the entire team fight unfold right there. Kill the tank in the front with your Malzahar and your Trundle, and then your Kaisa can actually carry everything else.
And of course, already the Trundle, such a favorable matchup into the Sejuani, sucking away all those tanky stats, the max health damage from the Malzahar as well. Feels pretty cut and dry, Deficio, as you mentioned. You can see exactly how it'll unfold. But Hylissang is trying to mix things up in the early game, continuing to roam out of bottom lane.
The problem is you just leave Rekkles on an island, and in most cases he's fine, but the risk of a dive is real from the side of Schalke, and if he makes one slight misstep or misplays, there's a real risk of Schalke finding kills in the 2v2.
Oh, tried to predict the juke right there, but that's kind of the important thing is when he played Pyke with Rekkles before, Rekkles was on Ezreal.
Yes.
Because it was a lot easier to leave him alone. Can't really do the same with Kaisa here, because your turret will take a lot of damage. So if it keeps happening, eventually Schalke will kill the bot lane turret. Hylissang, it's a hard game for him to actually play the Pyke Also because he's against very mobile carries.
Still getting closer to level 6, though. Vander has already gotten it. Of course, a small XP advantage for Rekkles as he's been solo under that tower for so long. But Upset and Vander putting the lane pressure they have to good use as they roam up, clear out a little bit of vision, potentially put down some control around this early Ocean Drake.
And the Drake might be one choice for them, but I actually think topside's where you can make a play. Ooh, let's see what happens here to get the hook.
He's going to hook back. The input buffer is there. Has to flash out to safety. The Ghost Water Dive would have put him in front, would have caused the stun to connect. Fnatic playing very aggressive. They know they have the advantage with this Malzahar level 6, and the rest of the team just not there to respond on the side of Schalke.
Now, the lack of pressure means that Schalke can't contest. Amazing's on the top side of the map, and Soaz using his unsealed spellbook. He didn't have TP, which meant that he just started to group up around the mid lane, offer that assistance in the event that Schalke looked to try to fight.
And now with the Drake gone here, I really want to try and see the Shen ult used towards the top side here. Try and see if you can secure a kill for Chachi or NukeDuck, because you need your split pushers to get ahead in this game here to be this huge threat in the side lanes. And when you have Shen Ezreal, you can leave Ezreal on his own. But now we get a classic Fnatic play. Broxah Hylissang around mid.
Stun is there. NukeDuck will go down immediately. The flash out still pulled back. The Shen ult is there. He's trying to buy a bit more time. Dash to safety. Not going to go down.
So a lot of pressure coming in the mid lane once again from Fnatic. We expected it. The play happens. They get the flash out of NukeDuck. That's now no longer going to be available. And I feel like the silence came out a little late, but also because the follow-up isn't there from Hylissang. Imagine the chain CC into then a silence that completely limits the options available to NukeDuck and will secure an easy kill once that ulti is available for Caps.
Luckily for them, they forced a defensive ulti from Vander, so that aggressive play with the Shen on top side, we don't get to see. We might just get it with Amazing.
He's just going to throw him back right as he turns into Mini-Gnar. This is perfect. He's going to get the max health damage from the Hyper as he starts to go in. Wants to chip through this tanky health bar. Soaz flashing back, buying a bit of time. Caps is here. The silence is in. It's hit both targets. Soaz now needs to run for his life. They have to be careful. The stun is there. First blood coming through for Schalke.
NukeDuck on the way. Can he do something here? Maybe force a flash?
Where's the distortion? The ultimate not available yet. The chain's going to connect on the Void Link. Well, good use from Caps.
A big thing to highlight here. Ulti from Caps is on cooldown. So when he TPs in, he offers nothing.
May have bit off more than he can chew, but manages to get out with the flash.
Now that's two flashes unavailable for Fnatic and the TP gone for Caps, and even still, Schalke secure first blood. They've now propelled to a 2,000 gold lead, and remember we said that these side laners needed to get ahead. Killing Soaz and getting an assist onto Chachi is the best way to get it.
We get exactly what we want, just without the Shen, even better for Schalke. This TP almost baits Soaz to stay and fight, but again, it's Malzahar without ult. He's effectively useless right now. He's not going to be able to kill anyone up here in the top lane, and Soaz overstays. He dies. Luckily, they have the Voidlings to just block the chains from NukeDuck, and no one needs to flash. Riftel going down, however, is Broxah on it. Soaz and the rest of his team's around.
TP being burned to make sure this one doesn't go down. If it doesn't deleash, Schalke are in a good spot, but it is going to get impatient. It looks like it will reset. So TP forced out there, less than ideal scenario.
I think it's okay because you got to use it back to lane. But now, look at the bottom side.
Caps has ult.
Caps and flash. Seems like he's feeling frisky. Vizicsacsi is there. Gnar will give him a lot of stats, but Rekkles and Hylissang free access to this bottom lane tower. Not at all going as expected. Ezreal ult does come through. Will clear the caster creeps just about. Vander going to need to commit a little bit more if he wants to stop this. Taunt goes forward. He is stunned up, and the guy coming out. If he gets low enough, Pyke is going to kill him. Not going to happen.
And that's the thing. It's okay for Fnatic to not get Riftel by just trading TP because Upset was not looking for a lane swap. He's now still running back to the bottom lane, but Chachi's trading top mid lane as well.
I'm going to go for it. The lockdown. 3 minions hitting there. NukeDuck is going to make it out safety. Silence over the wall. Not going to reset the Malefic Visions.
Hylissang looking for another roam once again, though. This man doesn't even have boots, yet he's all over the map.
He has Ignite.
He does have Ignite. The ulti is there, death from below. If he connects any ability, he may just be able to kill NukeDuck, but NukeDuck not afraid. Just a level 7 Pyke. He knows he can burst him down. Will he commit anything else? Still has a Phantom Undertow. So hard to lock down that Pyke, and Fnatic playing this nicely.
But a lot just happened in the last few minutes. Know that Rekkles is now sitting on a CS advantage with the BF sword complete because Upset TP towards the top side of the map to try and help out with this Rift Herald. Schalke were not able to secure it, and now Fnatic have 4 members towards the bot side with a very low health turret standing right in front of them.
Grouping as predicted in Champion Select. Fnatic fighting as a unit, fighting as a team, not giving Schalke the chance to split up this map.
And so much comes down Ooh, let's see what happens top.
Vizicsacsi is going to go turn mini in a moment here. Should win out on the trade, but can't commit fully to the dive yet.
But so much of this bot lane advantage comes down to Vander having to go mid lane with the Shen ult, Upset TPing up to stop a Rift Herald, and then actually not being able to get the Rift Herald to trade it for a bot lane turret. I think he was too eager to join that. It was only Broxah sitting with the objective, no one else.
And Tower First Blood does go to Fnatic, but still a 1K gold advantage for Schalke. That is the advantage on the top side. 36 CS lead for Vizicsacsi. Deficio, you talked about it. Those first items coming through means Gnar becomes that massive bully.
And I honestly just want to see him get another damage item now and just fully commit to winning this side lane. He's 2 levels up. He's a huge win condition for Schalke. Problem is, and Ornn, even if behind, can always force team fights, and that is Fnatic's way to stop the split push, engage on Schalke.
I also have my eyes on NukeDuck. You know, I don't mind it if a LeBlanc doesn't really find any kills in the first 10 minutes, but once she has her first item completed, that's the point in the game with which she needs to roam and start finding these picks, because the longer the game goes where she doesn't have a lead, she becomes harder and harder to play, especially against someone like a Kaisa with the amount of mobility she has, the stealth, the opportunity for outplay with the ult. The longer NukeDuck goes without getting himself kills or putting anyone from Fnatic behind, the harder this game gets for Schalke.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing around the Malzahar pick. It's just there to stop NukeDuck from getting these early kills, like Void Links to block, change. Every time we see NukeDuck step forward, Caps fires the Q from around the spot where NukeDuck would actually jump to try and silence him, so he can't do it. He's forced to build early mattresses, most likely the QSS, so it delays his snowball, and now here we go.
The lockdown comes through, the chain CC is going to go in, down from below, not quite going to be enough to Shen! Stopping it, but Broxah going to grab the kill in the end. Fnatic now barreling down mid lane, sights set on their second tower of the game.
And that's what we said from before here. This Fnatic team can play around mid lane, so Caps' Malzahar will be a lot more effective.
Taunt goes in, Broxah could now be in trouble, but Shen gonna buy a little bit more time. Now taking him out, Caps could be next on the menu, but Vander is running for his life. They're not gonna have enough to commit more. Vizicsacsi, though, is on the way in. Amazing, no ultimate means they can't commit any further.
Fnatic end up trading 1 for 1, but they get a tower. Rekkles pushes a bot lane minion wave all the way into the tier 2. Soaz picks up a lot of farm topside, and while it does cost him his teleport, Fnatic overall can be pretty happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, especially because they keep scaling on their side. They have the superior 5-on-5 draft here with the amount of engage and suppression.
And we talked about how NukeDuck, he needs to be finding kills at this point in the game. This LeBlanc needs to get ahead, and now that he is 0-1-0, falling behind the Malzahar, level 11 to level 12, NukeDuck is going to have a much harder time in this game.
And you can see how easy these kind of plays are. Just the CC coming through, almost enough with the Pyke to kill it, but Broxah has enough damage there with the Tiamat to kill even the stealth up LeBlanc.
And it was the suppress into stun into silence, meaning LeBlanc could not move for a whole 3 to 4 seconds. And while it was a good return from the side of Schalke to get that kill, that was pretty much the best they could get in this scenario.
Gentlemen, it starts to feel a little bit like game 1 when we look. Except now it's Caps, no longer on the proactive playmaker, on the defensive mid laner, set up to deny NukeDuck, doing exactly to Schalke what they did to Fnatic in game 1, stopping these playmakers from having any access to the back line. And it's starting to pay off as they get closer and closer to evening up the gold here.
QSS now completed for NukeDuck, so next time he just gets ulted by Caps, he can actually use it and try and get out, but it does slow down his damage. Schalke at this point are looking more towards the AD carry, saying you're going to be our carry in team fights. And again, Chachi winning the top lane. He needs to get this top lane turret down so he has a longer lane he can play around, and he is building towards a second damage item.
And they commit a little bit more. Hylissang does manage to pull LeBlanc back, has suppressed the Shen, though. They're just going to keep chasing through. They want the chain CC to go in. Down from below. They have the reset onto Hylissang, but they can cut him down before he gets anything else. That is 1 kill picked up. Upset on the backside, but the reset of the Malefic Mystery Species all but dead. Is he going to go down in the end? The Airy proc's not enough. They barely managed to make it out on the side of Schalke. The NukeDuck clone is there. Chachi, this is your moment. Rekkles will surely kill you, but you might take 1 down in the meantime. Mega Gnar not enough. NukeDuck running for his life. Soaz on the backside and amazing in no man's land. He's going to get cut through. 1 more stack on the plasma. Taken out in the end. The shutdown for Soaz. The flash forward and death from the Acathian rain.
And Fnatic find themselves 4 quick kills as Schalke fall further and further behind in game 3.
Rekkles now running though, upset, hungry for blood. Flashing forward, the Shen ulti coming in. Is it going to be enough? The dash, the flash, the extension, the shutdown on Rekkles.
Oh, let's see, Swords, Broxah on the way.
Upset, he's been the best Ezreal player in the league, but can he outplay this scenario? Buying a bit of time for Vander, but they're not even worried about Upset. They know the Ezreal can't kill them fast enough. They just want to pick off the Shen. Hylissang is here, he's stealthed up. They can't see him coming, but the Ghost Water Dive alerts them. They know he's on the wave. Can he outplay this hook? Has to dash over the wall, but he doesn't have the E. He gets taken down in the end. Fnatic take out Upset.
And Fnatic are winning some big fights here. We already mentioned how Schalke, they can't really win these fights properly. They are forced to build defensive items on their side, and while they managed to get the early 1-for-1 trade, they couldn't follow up, and we never got the Mega Gnar from Chachi.
And Schalke are starting to crumble under the pressure. These fights are getting hectic. So much is being used to just get a kill here or there, as Schalke are trying their best to just get some kills onto these carries. 0-2-2 now for NukeDuck, as Caps has been monumental in limiting their impact so far in this game.
And of course, we see the tax now being paid for Malzahar. Double QSSs in jungle and mid. They just want to finally engage. They want to stop Caps from being relevant. But while they focus on stopping Caps, Rekkles continues to scale up, getting closer to that 2-item threshold.
But keep your eyes on Upset, as he's building some serious damage too. Now, we'll see at the start of this fight, NukeDuck gets pulled in, but the attention actually goes down onto Vander, which means that NukeDuck doesn't have to burn the QSS, but Rekkles can just dive onto the backline, and this is when the fight kind of gets a little bit split up.
Yeah, because they get their first kill, but now, if you notice, Rekkles is still very healthy, and it's hard to take him down. Chachi, not even close to getting Mega Gnar, wants to get the kill onto Caps, and he will, but it takes so long, and there's so much damage coming from Rekkles to just kill him in time, and the Kaisa's on 3 kills now. Amazing. He was caught in it. I think he was trying to help at first, but then realizes, wait a minute, I can't actually do anything, and sadly, everyone kept chasing it.
Another fight in the game. Amazing throws the engage over the wall. Vander ready to pursue, but nothing is going to come from it. The action does not stop here. Vizicsacsi hungry for a kill onto Soaz. He knows he's the strong side laner that the team needs, but it's not enough to bully Soaz out of lane quite yet. Only the Bilgewater Cutlass and the Black Cleaver. Fnatic still very much in control. The gold not telling you the full story here, as Fnatic has been dominating these fights.
Vizicsacsi definitely going for the full split push build, but right now, Soaz is doing a good job holding him. Both teleports are available. Caps doesn't have his, so he's starting to group up with the team, but Schalke being forced on the back foot. They have LeBlanc, Gnar, yet they have not been able to find that significant of an early game advantage. And while the game is even right now, Fnatic are more than happy to keep this game state.
Yeah, Gnar will do his job, but NukeDuck can't do almost anything. If he goes to a side lane, Caps will match him and he will be stronger. So you're kind of forced to just play wave clear duty, and Fnatic can always start Baron to force a 5-on-5 team fight.
Upset now running, could be in trouble. Pyke is very difficult to get away from. Ghost Water Dive forward. Where's the Bone Skewer going to go? Using the ulti to get himself into it. Pulling Upset back. A beautiful play. The best Pyke in the world, you said, Deficio.
Excellent execution from Hylissang. He uses the ulti to close the gap. It makes it so much harder to dodge the hook. Upset didn't have flash, and now on his signature Ezreal pick, Schalke are suffering as Fnatic start off the Baron.
Trying to all in the Baron here. NukeDuck fairly low on mana. Chachi needs to recall and TP in. But again, he's far away from Mega Gnar.
Silence on a NukeDuck. Shen ult's coming in as well. They're bringing the whole team to bear. They're ready for a fight if it needs to happen. But Ornn is looking for an engage. The taunt does not stop the re-engage from the rest of the team. Amazing just trying to buy time. Can they deny the Baron? Eyes on Vizicsacsi's rage bar. The rest of the team going forward. NukeDuck now trying to run, but the chains has revealed him to be the real LeBlanc, and they're backing off for now.
Oh my god, Schalke actually managed to defend right here. Fnatic were looking to turn and fight them. Did not want to risk any sort of 50-50 Baron. But because Chachi was on top side, he actually kept 2 members distracted. And they only killed the support.
So trading 1-for-1 there. Kind of the best case scenario for Schalke, as Hylissang looks for more.
Absolutely fearless, leaping forward with the Bone Skewer yet again. Not at all worried about getting bursted out in those exchanges. Knows Rekkles is there to back him up, and another Infernal Drake falling for Fnatic. 3 Drakes to 0. Fnatic continuing to build these small advantages.
Now, often you would expect Schalke to be in the strong point at this point in the game. Ezreal, 2 items, very close to completing Blade of the Ruin King. Same for Chachi, but they just can't find these fights, as this whole fight starts off as a 4v5 in the Baron pick.
But you can see Chachi from top side trying to be annoying. Vander wants to stop the Ornn ulti, but he obviously ends up then overextending in the fight. But at this point, they're still buying time, and they actually get a kill on the way out. It's pretty crazy that Schalke do not lose more here, and Baron is still alive. So Fnatic, while they have the stronger 5-on-5, they still need the big objective if they want to get the big goal lead.
Schalke digging deep to stay in this game, finding these opportunities to stop Fnatic from getting anything greater.
And we need to look at the flash on Caps against no QSS on the Ezreal. He's always going to be a target. If a 5-on-5 is about to be set up, Caps will flash onto Upset and take him down.
And Ezreal's window of strength is starting to close. 2 items not hit nearly as quickly as they'd like. Rekkles matching on his way to 3 and then eventually 4. Definitely a difficult game for Schalke if they want to pull this one out. Blade of the Rune King, though, has been completed, and maybe Vizicsacsi can be enough to stop Fnatic.
Keeping my eyes on how the vision's being set up right now as Fnatic have full control around the Baron area, and Schalke investing a little bit towards the bot side of the map, but Caps with his TP coming up soon, they've actually moved him to the bot lane and then looking for a pick onto Chachi.
He has been locked up. It looks like they're trying to chain it together. Flash out from Vizicsacsi. Mini Gnar going to give him a little bit more movement speed. Boomerang will buy a bit of time just to hop over the wall to make it out, but burning that flash is crucial.
And this is a move that we actually used to see from Vitality back in last split, where you'd bring your Malzahar to the side lane to try and get a pick onto the split pusher. And because you run the teleport, even if Schalke were to start the Baron, Fnatic would have enough resources to get involved with the fight and not make it an easy one for Schalke.
And now the next play for Fnatic is that Baron itself, because there is no TP on Chachi's side. If he's sitting bot lane, he won't be able to join easily. He has to run all the way to stop them. And without him, they can just kill Amazing very quickly with the Malzahar ulti and the trundle and win this fight here.
Trying to secure the Scuttle Crab and a bit more vision. It's been a tough game for Schalke. They secured the Rift Herald early. They didn't get a chance to use it. It timed out, and now we see a little bit more action on the bottom side, but that's not the focus.
Yeah, because Fnatic just spent time bot lane trying to kill Chachi with Caps. They didn't get any vision around Baron. They actually gave up that area to Schalke, and it is now forcing Fnatic to catch waves in every lane and play from behind for a little bit, while Schalke gets some free damage and buy a bit of time, waiting for that big TP cooldown on Chachi's side, but it's not there. Fnatic will get their chance now to get the push on their side, and then they can try and force around Baron.
And Upset a little bit more comfortable to push out mid, knowing that the flash is down for Caps. You most likely will see the Malzahar coming at this point in the game, and NukeDuck maybe not the best at going 1-to-1 right now. And they're going to get pulled back, but does continue to pressure the top side. Ornn looking to start a fight. Is it going to be enough? It should be enough to secure the tier 2. Schalke not in a great position to contest this one. 4 members of Fnatic are here. They're ready to go. All 5, actually, as the team commits and a tier 2 drops.
Quick tower taken from Fnatic. They're staying grouped as 5. Amazing is on the flank, but I don't think I want to take this fight when NukeDuck pretty low on mana. And you look at the state of Fnatic's team right now. They're primed and ready for that 5v5.
I set on Baron. They have control in the mid lane. No real vision here from Schalke. They could be in a dire straits, but Fnatic aren't going to take the risk. They didn't find a greater advantage, they didn't find a pick. All 5 members strong. They don't want to risk anything here. They know what it means to go down a game. Hylissang going to back off.
Schalke really need to find some kind of pick if they want to stand a chance of coming back into this game, because again, the gold looks even and things look promising, but I feel like if we swap to the gold, a lot of that will be sitting on top of Upset, and you can see that he is very close to that of Rekkles, but then you compare the mid laners, a LeBlanc sitting at about 9.3k gold is not the state that you want your LeBlanc in.
Yeah, this game is not about NukeDuck, sadly for Schalke. When they grabbed that LeBlanc here, banned away 2 mid lane picks from Caps that did not expect the Malzahar to become a huge issue. And that's again why, if the game just continue like this, where we don't get another big team fight, Chachi will eventually get a tier 2 turret on the bottom side, but it's gonna take time, and that's kind of the issue for Schalke. Is it's Fnatic who can be proactive. It's Fnatic who can dictate the pace of the game and force and engage. QSS is now ready on Upset. That is huge. Oh, it's actually Schalke trying to fight here.
He goes in, Upset goes forward. NukeDuck just trying to find Rekkles. Does go right back. Very lackluster. Ornn wants to turn this one. They're all grouped up. 3 members hit by the Ornn ultimate. Vizicsacsi off to the side. The strong Gnar. The gold advantage on the Gnar. Not going to be enough. Goodbye, Vizicsacsi. Amazing trying to fire back on his Soaz, but the cleanse is there. The spellbook going to make sure that he can get out of that one. Amazing running. Rekkles sees the kill in his sights. Hylissang moving forward, but the dash out from LeBlanc is just enough to save it in the end. Fnatic have their eyes now on the Baron. Upset. Can you take down Caps? NukeDuck is going in as well. Is it going to be enough? Not today. Firing out the Ezreal. Desperation now for Schalke.
Schalke completely uncoordinated in that fight. Only 3 members left alive. Fnatic, they have the smite and the Baron in their eye.
Lower and lower. Can they get anything else? Leaping into the middle of the pit. He has been taken down. There's no way that they can get it. The Baron goes down to Fnatic. Massive advantage.
Another team fight won here. Chachi tried to find a flank, but then found himself all alone against 3 Fnatic members, and this guy cannot survive. He's built as a split pusher. It's all damage. First engage misses, then they force the flash from Rekkles, and now Schalke actually have no way of properly getting to any carry. So look at the bottom side. Chachi on the flank, well, he didn't want to be there. 4 members of Fnatic move towards him, and they can easily kill him.
And look at Amazing flashing in on towards Soaz, thinking that they can get themselves a 1-for-1, but the rest of Schalke recognize we're going to get collapsed upon if we hard commit onto this Ornn. This is not the kind of fight we want. They end up losing their jungler, and now Fnatic, 5 members strong, all Baron buffed up, level 17 caps, are breaking into the base of Schalke.
On the cusp of taking it to match point, will Game 4 be the end of this series? Fnatic well on the road to getting their second win here. Difficulty though as NukeDuck tries to find an avenue, tries to find an opportunity. Hylissang playing with his food on the bottom side, trying to buy a bit of time. Here comes the engage. Upset gonna dodge, but Cap's now in position to fire back. Not going to connect there. Backing off a single inhibitor down, multiple members, 5 of Fnatic, other than Hylissang on the bottom side, rather. Pushing forward, looking for a little bit more. 2 inhibitors should be the prize, but Soaz finds an engage. No one is going to follow up. Fnatic happy to play this one slow. Happy to take their time on the waves. They've kept Vizicsacsi locked up on the bottom side. He cannot come to help the team as long as Hylissang is here to stop his back.
And they're just keeping Hylissang there to keep a minion wave around. And now Vizicsacsi's overstepped. The rest of Fnatic are looking to collapse. This is going to be a dead top lane.
If Vizicsacsi goes down, the game may just end in the favor of Fnatic. Can he get anything done here? Is going to go mini shortly. Pillar is going to come out. It's going to push him away. He's going to throw back, buy a little bit of time with the slow. Is he going to do it? The great escape could come out. Schalke on the side. They're trying to pick off caps. Is it going to be enough? Vander goes in as well, but Upset is just now getting in the fight. They've already turned it. Fnatic are still winning despite the favorable engage for Schalke. Rekkles on a killing spree, and Vizicsacsi running for his life.
Schalke cannot win these team fights. They don't have enough damage. Fnatic are even chasing for Chachi again, but he's gonna stay alive. They don't need to actually try and kill this Gnar, just go for the base.
Look at the death timers on Schalke Fnatic. They played towards their win conditions beautifully. They shut NukeDuck down. They weren't allowing him to be the big carry to bring forth the Year of the Duck, and they have their eyes on securing their second win in this series.
Fnatic now pushing, Upset flashing back and forth. They're trying to dance around this, but I don't know if it's enough. Gnar on the way from Vizicsacsi. Has to be careful. He gets leaps in, though. Can't get the reset, but the pillar there is beautiful. Tries to pull it back, but immediately the ulti comes out. Goodbye to the Gnar! Goodbye to the advantages for Schalke. Upset now running. QSS comes out, and Empower Cannon almost takes him down in the end. Fnatic, eyes set on the Nexus. They're looking to take it to match point. They're looking to solidify the advantage, and Fnatic find the win in Game 3.
They saw the LeBlanc, and they said, hey, Malzahar is going to win us the game. Not something we've seen Cap play a lot in the summer split, but it doesn't matter because it was perfect right here. It completely stops NukeDuck from being able to do anything. People will roam to his lane, he has to build QSS, and the LeBlanc became useless.
It certainly did. Schalke, they drafted a 1-3-1 composition. They needed to have those strong side laners, and they never got to that point. We criticized Fnatic's drafting Game 1. They've been able to make quick changes that have worked out beautifully as we move into Game 4. And it was just denying that Braum away from Vander, opened up the Ornn pick, gave them loads of engage options, and we saw how much easier it was for Fnatic to actually start off these fights.
Yeah, they had all the tools to stop split pushing from ever happening, and while the first 20 minutes, again, are very, very close, you just constantly have this feeling that Fnatic will control the game. Yes. They will win the following team fights because Schalke right now are not getting their carries far enough ahead. Upset tried, but as a single Ezreal, you can't do enough.
And we have to wonder what else is available for Schalke. What other strategies do they have? NukeDuck on the carry was not enough. Is there another early game jungler for Amazing? Can they dictate the pace earlier on? Because we saw the Ezreal Shen, a lane that was supposed to dominate, just was not able to do anything for the Schalke lineup.
I mean, Vedius mentioned the Camille earlier that he's been playing in solo queue leading up to the final. It is a potential option if they want more early game aggression, because that's how they won Game 1.
The problem I'm seeing right now for Schalke is that when Vander is not on an engage, they put Amazing in a situation where he has to be the engage. Because for some reason, they're not happy with Vizicsacsi playing things like the Ornn. They're not happy with him running something that can actually start off these fights. And it kind of tunnels Amazing into a situation where if they want to go towards these fights, they need an actual way to kick things off. So unless Vander finds other ways of starting fights or they find engage elsewhere, I feel like Amazing's just going to get relegated to engage duty for the rest of the series.
And I also feel like we have to praise Fnatic. They shut down this 1-3-1 beautifully. We see so many teams hesitate when there's pressure across multiple lanes. They don't even let it get to that stage. And you know Fnatic is the kind of team that if they see an opportunity, they're going to take it. They're not the kind of team that'll hesitate when they see an opportunity to pick someone off.
They just showed superior team fighting, but also the draft was heavily in favor of them in 5 versus 5s.
Absolutely was. Well, tonight, Fnatic are looking to make history and take their 7th EU LCS title in front of thousands of fans, and the Palacio Vistalegre will be right back right after this for Match Point.